Let us pray. Lord, I pray as I race today, keep me safe along the way. Not only me, but others too, as they perform the jobs they do. I know, God, that in a race, I, the driver, must set the pace. But in this race of life, I pray, help me, Lord, along the way. Although I know I am a sinner, help me to believe that with God, you're always a winner.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose red stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of death with victory and peace? May the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust, and the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Shh! Hear that? That's the sound of technological advancement happening with each passing second and making you and all you stand for obsolete. HDR, or High Dynamic Range, is the latest and greatest of those advancements, and in a nutshell, it improves the contrast between light and dark, giving you a more accurate reproduction of colour. The technical definition for HDR panels demands a 4K resolution and a contrast ratio of 1000 nits at peak brightness and just 0.05 nits at black level. In case you're wondering, 1 nit is roughly equivalent to the light one candle gives off. But if you'll forgive us the excellent pun, it's not quite as black and white as all that. In a game like Monolith's Middle-earth Shadow of War, it's the difference between seeing the developer's true vision of Tolkien's land and a diluted version of it. Take Mount Doom, for example, an icon of the geography and a perfect demonstration of the game's dramatic visuals. An HDR-capable gaming PC offers more contrast between the glowing lava and the charred rock. In this fight at Gorgoroth at the base of the mountain, Talion takes down some occupying orcs using Celebrimbor's bright blue wraith magic against a backdrop of billowing chimneys and lava lakes. HDR brings out the details in all these elements, producing brighter blues, making the explosions pop and retaining the inky blacks of each shadow and dark cloud. It isn't only in extreme contrast situations that the benefits of an HDR gaming rig really shine through though. In this dark and gloomy interior, HDR is better able to articulate small differences in shades of a similar colour. So areas that might once have looked washed out in SDR appear atmospheric and immersive. So if you're wondering why HDR really matters in games, just remember Mount Doom and its lovely lava flow. From now until October 16th, when you buy select GeForce GTX 1080 Ti and GeForce GTX 1080 graphics cards, systems and laptops from a participating retailer, you can also bag a bundled copy of Middle-earth: Shadow of War and enjoy the very best PC gaming experience.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, David Wellborn, for the DRL Winter Series B-Split race tonight. And I have already started out to a bad start because I did not spell winter right. We are going to be running 50 laps here tonight for our B-Split, and we will be running 100 laps for our main race event tonight. It should be a pretty good race tonight, I believe. As of right now, we do have 12 drivers that have joined into the server, but it's still early. And as usual, we're going to go ahead and do our breakdown of last week's race at Texas, and our point standings for our split and our main event point standings. In our main race last week at Texas, the results was Blake Griffith finished first, Ryan Hesgard was second, Garrett Maines, well, yeah, it's Garrett Maines, I was corrected last week, finished third. Brandon Dalton finished fourth, and Eric Johnson rounded out our top five. In our A split, the results for Texas was Eric Johnson finished first, Blake Griffith finished second, Daniel Hallis was third, Ryan Hesgard was fourth, and Chris James rounded out our top five. In our B split, John Mullins ended up winning the race. Alan Bowman was second, William Edwards was third, Bradley Freeman was fourth, and Dustin Musel was fifth. Our main point standings is kind of shaking up just a little bit, as we were informed that Brady Briggs ended up breaking his leg, so he's going to be out for these two races and probably two races in our Cup Series when we start back February the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Blake Griffith took over the first spot. Brady Briggs is still currently second. James Pandolph is third. Bradley Freeman is fourth. And Zachary Smith rounds out our top five. Our A split standings, Blake Griffith is first. Daniel Hallis is second. Brady Briggs drops to third. James Pandolph is fourth. And Clay Phillips rounds out our top five. For our B split standings, Zachary Smith is in first position. Bradley Freeman is second. John Mullins is third. Tater Bowman, or Alan Bowman, is fourth. And Yves St. Ong, I finally got his name pronounced right. It is Yves St. Ong, and he rounds out our top five. Now, we will be doing Homestead. It will be our last race of the season. And we do have new graphics package and everything set up for our DRL series next season. We will be going to our own television station. It's DRL TV. I believe it will be at YouTube/DRL TV. With that said, we will test out our graphics package next week for the final race of the season at Homestead, just to make sure all the graphics and everything are working right, and that I'm familiar with running ATVO with our new graphics package and everything. And I'm hoping I'm not coming through too loud this evening, but I've been working on my system and everything, and I've just about got most of the kinks worked out. But then again, you know, most likely going to be upgrading my system here pretty soon, so I'll have to go through all this again, get up everything set back up and everything. Did have a issue last week. My neighbor, he's like 84 years old, and I kind of look after him, and apparently he had fell out of a lift chair that he has, and I had to cut interviews short. So with that said, we're going to try to get through this race tonight and bring us our interviews, and hope like nobody ends up needing my help midway through these races or at the end of the race when we're doing our interviews. As of right now, it looks like Richard Springer is on the pole, or as the fastest man on the track right now with a 37.02. J.R. Haggard is second, Bob Cunningham is third, Dustin Musel is fourth, and William Edwards rounds out our top five. And we are, of course, riding around with Yves St. Ong as of, for right now. I hope to have everything up and running, no graphics problems this evening, no trucks bouncing around, and if we can get all that, then I'll be happy for at least the next few races until I upgrade my system and have to go through and make sure everything is working right like it should be. As again, we are at Chicagoland Speedway. You know, I like this track. I like driving it, but you've got to really hit your marks. If you miss your marks, you can lose almost a half a second getting around this track. And some people like to cut down low and run, oh, I don't know what I call below the white line, and cut the apex. I'm not a big fan of that, but you might see a lot of that happening here tonight, as there are all kinds of grooves that you can run on this track. There are two distinct running lines, and they are both fast to get around this track, but there is a third line when you cut the apex going through the tri-oval, where people just get on that flat surface and just cut the track basically in half coming through the tri-oval. And I'm not like I say, I'm not a big fan of that. I figure once you get off the track, you're off the track, and if you pull that crap with me and I'm on the outside of you, you're off the track and you're going to hit the brakes, or you have to make that pass, because I'm not letting you back up. That's just the way I drive. I'm a go-getter, just not a big fan of it. You want to run off the track, that's fine, run off the track, but I won't give you the room to get back up on it. May end up hitting the wall, we may wreck. It is what it is. And we're gonna sit here and watch Richard Springer and the 21 of Richard Springer, and it looks like, can't tell, the 15 of Chris James. Is that right? No, it's Martin Wenzel's in the 15, and 32 of Brandon Red. Now, they've been on the track here, and they've been doing a pretty good job of not doing what Mr. Springer just did. I talked to Mr. Mullins this afternoon just before the race, and like I said, we're going to be working through the graphics package and everything for the DRL TV just to make sure I got everything set up, all the plaques installed right, our graphics package installed right for the particular series that I'll be running. But I believe they are coming up with just a few more things before we break out on DRL TV Live. Just got a notice this afternoon that we will be running a shootout, a qualifying, and a dual 125s, or dual. We're going to be doing duels anyway at Daytona. I'm really not sure how many laps it's going to be, but it's going to be a real fun evening for the Cup races. Starting at around 7:30, we will be having the shootout, the 2 duels, and then the 250 race for Daytona. We will not be running the Daytona 500, but it's going to be like it's going to be a Daytona 250. Of course, by the time we get done running all the duels and the shootouts and everything, we're going to have well over 500 miles at Daytona. It's going to be a real fun night coming February the 18th, so I look forward to driving that night. I will not be broadcasting, as I will be competing in the Cup Series. So look for me to be around 30th or so by the end of the season. I'm an average driver. I'm not going to lie about it. But I get out here and I race with these gentlemen just because I enjoy racing. Enjoy this league. This league is a gentleman league. And I just can't say enough about the admins and the people who put this series together. They do such nice work, and they go through so much to make sure that we have practice sessions, practice races, and sponsorship for these races and for the leagues. James Pandolf and the admins in this league have beat all I've ever seen. I have run quite a few leagues dealing with Papyrus and NASCAR 3, 4, 2003. I did all kinds of leagues, and I got to say that this league right here is one of the best leagues that I've ever had the privilege of being in, and with my new starting career as a broadcaster for these up-and-coming series. They just do so much to make this so much fun for the drivers and for the spectators. So we got to give a big hats off to all the administrators and to everyone that makes this league possible, and to the drivers. If you are wanting to drive in one of our competitions next season, there are still room on the rosters for the Cup, the Xfinity, and the Truck Series. The link is below, so get in touch with James Pandolf and he will be more than happy to set you up with running one or all 3 of the series. You do have to commit to one series that you will be running for the championship if you're going to run more than one series, as you can only have one championship per series. If you happen to finish first in 2 of the series, then one of them will be dropped and the second place will end up taking the championship over, as to say. I think everybody understands what I mean by that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. We do have a little more than 6 minutes to go, and Richard Springer is still the man on the track to beat, and I've been watching him run around this track here, and he's been pretty fast all evening long. And Jordan, he put up a 4-hour practice, and I got to sneak in there a little bit and watch them practice. They don't know I do that, so I like slipping in there and watching drivers get around and practice. And Richard Springer, he's been pretty good this last couple of days practicing. I watch him. Like I said, people don't know I do it, but if I catch them in a race, I'll pop in as a spectator and watch them run and stuff like that. John Mullins is currently 8th, but I think he's going to be a man to have to watch out for on the long runs here tonight. He does do a lot of practice and everything, so you got to watch out for Mr. Mullins. If he can keep his truck out of danger tonight, avoid all the wrecks, he might be coming home with a podium finish tonight, possibly a win. I know he's looking to try to get a win. Not really sure if he's actually won a race or set on the pole or not, but if he has won a race or set on the pole from last season or this winter series, then he's pretty much locked into our Daytona 250 starting position or the shootout. I think it's the shootout. If you've won a race or if you've set on the pole, you are locked into the shootout. And then you got the dual 125s where you race and you are racing for qualifying positions for the actual Daytona 250. I believe that's how everything's going to work out, and like I said, it's going to be a long night on the Cup Series, a lot of racing going on. I'm just glad that I'm not going to be the one broadcasting that, because it just sounds to me like it's going to be a headache. But I know these men who are going to be broadcasting that series will put on a really good show for us, and we're looking really forward to getting the season started off with the Daytona. That's going to be awesome racing. And we are now up to 16 drivers that are in this session. I'm still looking for about 4 more to jump in, as I would like to see around 20 drivers for tonight's event. We're going to take a quick break and get everything set up for qualifying.
Shh! Hear that? That's the sound of technological advancement happening with each passing second and making you and all you stand for obsolete. HDR, or High Dynamic Range, is the latest and greatest of those advancements, and in a nutshell, it improves the contrast between light and dark, giving you a more accurate reproduction of colour. The technical definition for HDR panels demands a 4K resolution and a contrast ratio of 1000 nits at peak brightness and just 0.05 nits at black level. In case you're wondering, 1 nit is roughly equivalent to the light one candle gives off. But if you'll forgive us the excellent pun, it's not quite as black and white as all that. In a game like Monolith's Middle-earth Shadow of War, it's the difference between seeing the developer's true vision of Tolkien's land and a diluted version of it. Take Mount Doom, for example, an icon of the geography and a perfect demonstration of the game's dramatic visuals. An HDR-capable gaming PC offers more contrast between the glowing lava and the charred rock. In this fight at Golgoroth at the base of the mountain, Talion takes down some occupying orcs using Celebrimbor's bright blue wraith magic against a backdrop of billowing chimneys and lava lakes. HDR brings out the details in all these elements, producing brighter blues, making the explosions pop, and retaining the inky blacks of each shadow and dark cloud. It isn't only in extreme contrast situations that the benefits of an HDR gaming rig really shine through though. In this dark and gloomy interior, HDR is better able to articulate small differences in shades of a similar colour. So areas that might once have looked washed out in SDR appear atmospheric and immersive. So if you're wondering why HDR really matters in games, just remember Mount Doom and its lovely lava flow. From now until October 16th, when you buy select GeForce GTX 1080 Ti and GeForce GTX 1080 graphics cards, systems and laptops from a participating retailer, you can also bag a bundled copy of Middle-earth: Shadow of War and enjoy the very best PC gaming experience.
And we're back, and it looks like we got a little less than 2 seconds to go before qualifying starts. We're gonna follow Richard Springer, as he is the man to beat right now. As soon as he hits the track, we'll follow him around. We're currently riding around with Bradley Freeman, as Richard Springer may pull driving from the back to the front. I remember he does that a lot, so I gotta give it a hats off to Bradley.
I mean, he's currently 4th in our main points, and he's currently 2nd in the B split.
So he's not doing too bad. He's been pretty consistent with his racing, so got to give him a big hats off to staying out of trouble and getting in a place to try to win the championship. I will tell you this much: there are only 18 points that separate the leader from the top 5. So it is still anybody's championship to win here in the B series. Not so much in the main and in the A splits.
I'm going to just go ahead and say that Blake Griffiths is probably going to end up having the main block as
Being the winner for the main series,
and he may actually
end up winning the A series as well. And currently John Mullins is on the pole, so way to go, John. Now, can you keep it there, brother? That's the thing. He's got a 31.9 for his lap. I'm not sure that's going to hold up. Of course, then again, it may hold up because Richard Springer has still yet to qualify. And he's going out now with 2 minutes left, so it looks like he's going to do a one and done. So we'll watch Mr. Springer as we see if he can get it done with one and done. Like I said, this man's been fast all night long, and he's been really strong the last couple of races. Now, he has been caught up in some unfortunate incidences, and he's not had the showing that he would have liked to have had. And that's that cut in the tri-oval that I was talking about earlier. You're going to see that a lot by some of the drivers here tonight. But like I said, my racing rule is if you go below that white line or you go below that yellow line, you're off the track as far as I'm concerned. And Richard Springer's got him a really good time going. And Richard Springer has took over the pole with a 31.7. So, John,
Sorry, brother, but you almost pulled it off. But there's our pole sitter right there, Richard Springer. All drivers have put in at least one lap, so that's nice to know. So qualifying is now over, and that is your pole sitter, Richard Springer. We do have 16 drivers. That will be our field tonight. For 50 laps is what we're going to be running here tonight, is 50 laps at Chicagoland Speedway. And then our main event will be at 9:30. We will be running 100 laps then. So this is, and they do have 2 fast repairs on this particular session tonight, and they will have 1 fast repair during our main event. So as of right now, it's Richard Springer's our first position. John Mullins is second. Dustin Musel is third. Aaron Brown is fourth. Bob Cunningham is fifth. Zachary Smith is sixth. William Edwards is seventh. Bradley Freeman is eighth. Martin Wenzel is ninth. J.R. Haggard is 10th. Casey Drake is 11th. Brandon Red is 12th.
Yeah, I know. I have the same question. Martin's involved in the league, though. Maybe it's him.
Charles Hemphill is 13th. Chris Terrence is 14th. Robert Larandy is 15th. And Yves St. Onge is 16th. And I'm going to have to fix something real quick, as I am hearing people as they talk during the race, so I messed that up already.
There we go, on all teams now.
And the pace car is off as we get ready to do our warm-up laps. And it looks like somebody, Richard Springer, may have got up and went and got a drink or something, as he's not moved yet. There he goes. And I don't know if he's going to get caught up in time for us to get a green on this first lap. He may. Our track weather is currently 72 degrees outside with almost 7.5 mile-an-hour winds out of the west. We are clear. We are looking at 98 degrees on the track, so it's going to be kind of slick out here this evening. And these drivers need to get caught up in a hurry if they're going to tighten this field up. We're getting ready to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Kick this race off with one left. Pace car is in. Richards are gone, and we are green flag racing. Richard Springer got him a really, really nice start there. Of course, now John, he's sitting there with Aaron Brown, and Aaron's getting a heck of a run, and he ducks up underneath John Mullins. And I don't know if he's going to be able to clear him or not. John's fighting back on the high side. And there goes that bottom cut. And it didn't look like that helped him at all. I think that just tears your tires up. And it's probably just a little too early to be doing that. Aaron Brown was not able to complete that pass. it looks like Dustin's going to try to shoot the outside. I thought he was going to go to that. He still may go to the outside and try to get around Aaron. And it looks like everybody's fell in line, single file. Yeah, we're getting kind of spread out, so we may end up actually having a green flag racing this evening.
45.
And it looks like Aaron Brown's going backwards, and he's lost it. I hope he saves it without getting too much damage. Don't come back on the track. Don't come back. Ah! He come back on the track, and that was, wow, that was a mess. And as you see, he's off the track. He's lost it. He just about saves it. And he comes dead right back on the track. And still didn't quite see who that was that he took out. We'll see if we can't get a different look at it. And it looks like it's the 51 of Casey Drake. And then he catches Yves St. Hong. So it looks like about 4 trucks was involved in that pretty early. As we got 5 laps on our tires, I don't expect, well, of course now Richard's going to make me a fool and he's actually going to come in. I didn't figure anybody would come in, but it looks like Bob Cunningham is the only one that stayed out. Everybody else decided to come in. So Richard Springer is getting ready to hit his marks. Ooh, that was close right there. John Mullins almost got into the side of Richard as they were coming into the pit boxes. And Cunningham probably made a smart move as the 44 of J.R. Haggard gets out before everybody. I hope he didn't get a black flag for speeding. And I'm not sure, but I believe John may have actually got out in front of Richard. I'm not sure on that though. As it is showing currently, Bob Cunningham, J.R. Haggard, Richard Springer, John Mullins, and Dustin Musial in our top 5. But that was almost a mess right there on pit road between Richard Springer and John Mullins, as Mullins did not expect Richard Springer to slow up that much as they were headed into their pit boxes. And it looks like Bob Cunningham is going to elect to continue to stay out, and we'll have to just watch to see if Mr. Haggard got a black flag for speeding down pit road. Looks like Bradley Freeman has actually made his way up into the top 6, top 5. Like I said, Bradley, he's been really consistent in running these races, and that's how you win championships. And you don't necessarily have to win the races to win a championship. It can be done Dale Earnhardt way, just being consistent. Earnhardt won a series one time, a championship, and never won a race. I'm not really for sure how many drivers has actually won a championship that way, but I do know Dale Earnhardt did win a championship and never won a race. And it looks like the pace car's in, and they're away. And we are green flag racing once again. And the 51 of Casey Drake tries to make it 3 wide. as we take off down here and going into our first turn. And I don't believe that's going to pay off because Casey Drake is now going backwards. Yeah, he's definitely going to the back of the pack. So that didn't pay off for Mr. Drake. And we're back up front as Richard Springer is looking to get around Bob Cunningham, and he's going to do it on the high side. And he's going to pull that pass off, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like they were 3 wide there just for a second. But Richard Springer is still battling it out, and he is now clear of Bob Cunningham. And now Mr. Haggard is trying to go to the high side of Cunningham as well. I just don't believe staying out when everybody come in was the call to make, even though they only had 5 laps in their tires. This track will eat your tires up really quick, and Bob got real close to Haggard right there going into the turn, so need to be a little bit better off in judging how close you are. We're going to drop back here in the back and see what's going on. Aaron Brown just made a pass on the 52 of William Edwards, and he is now trying to be passed by the 17 of Charles Hemphill. And I believe Hemphill's going to actually complete that pass as well, and he does. So, but it looks like William Edwards is not going to give it up. He's going to try to fight back on the high side. Just was not able to do that, as it looks like Zachary Smith is trying the inside of Bradley Freeman, and John Mullins was able to get around Bob Cunningham as well. Let's see if Bradley gets this pass made here. He's doing all he can to get around Zachary Smith. I believe he's got it. And there it goes. Aaron Brown trying to get around Martin Wenzel. Wenzel hits the high side, and Aaron Brown hits the bottom of the track. Oh, and he almost slides right up and catches the nose of Martin. I bet Martin's thinking, oh Lord, don't hit me. Richard Springer's got a full second advantage over J.R. Haggard, as Haggard is being challenged now by John Mullins. And that's so close, as he almost catches the back end of Haggard. Going to try to stay and bring you as much action as possible. And it looked like Bradley Freeman is still trying to get around Bob Cunningham. John Mullins has actually made it in front of J.R. Haggard. And it looks like Bradley Freeman is still trying to get around these slower drivers. Oh, and he almost slides door handle into Zachary Smith and backs out of it just to make sure he doesn't hit him. And Bob Cunningham is still battling it out with Zachary Smith. And he gets back in front of Zachary, and that is for the 4th position. See, I'm not a fan of that right there. That's why. That's exactly why I'm not a fan of that right there.
Alright, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
You come back up on the track, the truck gets upset, and then you lose control. And there's 4 trucks involved in that, and it did not need to happen. Now, here we are again. Hits the apron, and just as soon as he comes back up, it's the back end break loose, and he has to overcorrect, and now he hits it again, and he just catches Bradley Freeman and the 32, the 45, and oh, there's 5 vehicles involved in that wreck, all because you want to run the bottom and cut the apex of the tri-oval. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Need a push.
And I just heard someone, for some reason, not really sure why it is that I'm still hearing drivers but it looks like just about everyone's come back in to pit road, and Richard Springer and Mullins is going to come out 1-2. Haggard, Zachary Smith, Brandon Red, and Bradley Freeman. That's our race off of pit road. The 71 of Dustin Musel is 1 lap down, and he is looking to get the wave around. Looks like Chris Terrence is a lap down as well. Actually, it looks like Robert Lorendi's 1, Chris Terrence is 2 laps down, and Dustin Musel is 4 laps down. Looks like the lucky dog was not really sure who it was.
17 is a black flag there.
And I'm getting some admin. Let me see what's going on real quick, because I should not be hearing anyone. And hopefully that solved the admins clearing black flags or whatever. Richard Springer is in our first position. John Mullins is second. J.R. Haggard is third. Zachary Smith fourth. And Brandon Red is fifth. As the lights are out on the pace car, and we will be going green next time by. Yeah, like cutting that apron like that, that's just one way of really upsetting the truck. These trucks are already loosened up in the rear end without having to hit the apron like that. You can get away with it in the Cup cars, and you can get away with it in the Xfinity cars. These trucks are so light in their rear end, it doesn't take that much to upset the rear end on these trucks. And that's why I'm not a fan of clipping the apron like that. But we have 30 laps to go. Everyone should be able to make it on tires and on gas, and the pace car's in. Green flag is out, and Richard Springer is away again. John Mullins is going to try to clear the J.R. Haggard, and Haggard actually clears John and puts John back into third as he's trying to battle it out. And the 51 of Casey Drake is trying to make a move on Martin Wenzel for the 7th position. And I believe Martin's just going to let him go. And Richard Springer is pulling the cutting the apron effect. And John Mullins actually is working around J.R. Haggard, and I believe he's going to clear him as he gets down. And they're going to still battle it out. Looks like Haggard's a little bit better on the high side getting through these turns. And he cuts right across the nose of John Mullins, hits the apron and comes back up. And that's an accident looking for a place to happen. We've already seen it happen one time tonight. And Brandon Red finally gets around Casey Drake. And it looks like Bradley Freeman is going to be looking to get around Casey Drake as well. And it's a battle between Martin Wenzel and the 52 of, oh Lord, William Edwards. William Edwards did not end up coming out a winner on that and moved Martin Wenzel back up into the 8th position. And Robert Lorandi is on a move. He is now in 13th position, but he is battling it out with the lapper, if I'm not mistaken. No, he is a lapper. So now you got to wonder what's going on with William Edwards as he's falling back and lappers are passing him. And again, Richard Springer's got a full second lead, so he's got a real comfortable lead. And we do have a yellow flag. And it looks like the 44, J.R. Haggard, was involved somehow. So we're riding around. Oh, he broke loose. He hits the outside wall. He comes down. He doesn't lock the tires up. But it looks like it's a single car incident. Nobody hit him, so not too bad for J.R. Haggard. And he didn't hit anything, really. I mean, he brushed the outside wall, but I believe he can get away with not using a fast repair with that. Well, now we've had 3 cautions for 7 laps and 2 lead changes. So we're going to take a quick break because I need a refill on drink. So we'll be right back.
Shh! Hear that? That's the sound of technological advancement happening with each passing second and making you and all you stand for obsolete. HDR, or High Dynamic Range, is the latest and greatest of those advancements, and in a nutshell, it improves the contrast between light and dark, giving you a more accurate reproduction of colour. The technical definition for HDR panels demands a 4K resolution and a contrast ratio of 1000 nits at peak brightness and just 0.05 nits at black level. In case you're wondering, 1 nit is roughly equivalent to the light one candle gives off. But if you'll forgive us the excellent pun, it's not quite as black and white as all that. In a game like Monolith's Middle-earth Shadow of War, it's the difference between seeing the developer's true vision of Tolkien's land and a diluted version of it. Take Mount Doom, for example, an icon of the geography and a perfect demonstration of the game's dramatic visuals. an HDR-capable gaming PC offers more contrast between the glowing lava and the charred rock. In this fight at Gorgoroth at the base of the mountain, Talion takes down some occupying orcs using Celebrimbor's bright blue wraith magic against a backdrop of billowing chimneys and lava lakes. HDR brings out the details in all these elements, producing brighter blues, making the explosions pop, and retaining the inky blacks of each shadow and dark cloud. It isn't only in extreme contrast situations that the benefits of an HDR gaming rig really shine through though. In this dark and gloomy interior, HDR is better able to articulate small differences in shades of a similar colour. So areas that might once have looked washed out in SDR appear atmospheric and immersive. So if you're wondering why HDR really matters in games, just remember Mount Doom and its lovely lava flow. From now until October 16th, when you buy select GeForce GTX 1080 Ti and GeForce GTX 1080 graphics cards, systems and laptops from a participating retailer, you can also bag a bundled copy of Middle-earth Shadow of War and enjoy the very best PC gaming experience.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like the 71 of Dustin Musial is looking to get a waiver round. Richard Springer is still our leader, John Mullins is second, Zachary Smith is third, Bradley Freeman is fourth, and Brandon Red is in our top 5 position. The light is out on the pace car and we will be going green next time by. Be hitting around 20 laps to go. I'm hoping that maybe we can go green flag racing to the end of this race. I know John Mullins is trying his best to get him a win out of this Winter Series, and he may actually stand a chance at doing it here tonight. I believe he most likely would have got it done if he'd have got a really long run, green flag run, as he was really fast on the long runs. The green flag is out and we are away. Richard Springer does get another good lead on the field. John Mullins settles right in. Zachary Smith follows right behind him. And there's Casey Drake looking on the inside of William Edwards. And Casey Drake pulls off that pass and he looks like he's going to try to continue on with Brandon Red as well. And there's that hitting that apron again. It's actually going to work out for him this time. Casey Drake is now moved up into the top 5. Bradley Freeman is 4th, Zachary Smith 3rd, John Mullins is 2nd. Of course, Richard Springer's got him a real comfortable lead. Almost 4/10 of a second, and I believe he's pulling away. Yeah, he's pulling away from John Mullins. And as everybody tries to get single file, the battle back here now is with Yavis St. Hong and it's Eve. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's Eve St. Hong and Charles Hemphill and Robert Lorandi. This is the battle right now. And of course the 71 of Dustin Musial. What in the world? have no idea what that was all about. Let's check that out again. Clips an apron, the 17 of Hemphill, catches the apron, spins it, breaks traction, and comes back on the track, hits the wall. I'm hoping that some of these drivers that have been doing this evening will realize before we get to the main event that doing that right there is risky. You run a risk of breaking loose as you come back on the track. We got 15 laps to go, and Richard Springer has got a 1.3 second lead over John. And the battle right now is between William Edwards and Brandon Red. And it looks like William's gonna complete this pass on Brandon Red for the 5th position. And he does. And we got another yellow. Oh, 04 of Chris Terrence. Let's see what's going on with this. Oh, it's the 51. Casey Drake. And the 71 of Dustin. The 51 just looks like he's pushing. He catches the wall and he comes down, breaks loose, avoids hitting the 71. And just locks it up. So that's a tough break for Casey Drake. As they come down pit road, this final 10 to 12 laps, everybody wants some fresh tires. I can't blame them. Come on, John. You need to get out there in front of him. Go, 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 go. Don't let up. Don't let up. There you go. There you go. That's the way you do it, John. That's the way you do it. I hope I don't sound impartial because I'm actually pulling for John tonight. But I know I should be impartial, but not tonight. Sorry, Richard. I really want to see John get him a win. So as of right now, John Mullis is in first, Richard Springer is second, Zachary Smith is third, Bradley Freeman is being consistent in the 4th place, and William Edwards rounds out our top 5. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Martin Wenzel going down pit road, and it is. Showing him 2 laps down. And you're going to have around 9 laps to go when we finish this race off here. And Dustin's looking to get 1 lap down by getting the waiver out. And if he does that, then that'll put him in the 14th position, just ahead of Martin Wenzel. Bring them down slow. As soon as that pace car jumps off, go. The lights are out, so we will be going green next time by, and that will leave us with 9 green flag laps of racing. I think everybody's going to be really impressed with the DRL TV graphics. There is Ryan Branch put it on the show last Tuesday. He broadcasted the A split, and I believe he used the DRL package, and I'm not for sure how you get there. I should have got a link and put it in below, but if I can find it, I'll put it in and update this page here later on tonight or tomorrow and get you that link so that you can check out the new graphics package it will have. If not, you can see it when we go live next week. Green flag is out. John Mullins got him a really good start, and he's really needing Zachary Smith to battle it out here with Richard Springer. And if he can do that, then he may stand a chance of pulling this off, as Richard Springer is taking a look underneath Zachary Smith, and caution flag is out, and it looks like Zachary Smith was involved, so let's see what happened. Yeah, he gets turned by Richard Springer right there. So that's really unfortunate. Eight laps to go. We will be going green flag racing once again. Oh, and Richard Springer just clips Casey Drake, or William Edwards, as he's tried to go down pit road. And I don't believe William was wanting to go down pit road, but he's got to go now. That's for sure. Fast repair for Richard Springer. It's a good thing he had 2 of them. This is the first one he's used, but still, that was just crazy how he cut down right in front of William Edwards, or yeah, William Edwards, and just messed the whole front end of his truck up. Side of his truck too, so that man right there is trying to win the race. Of course, now he's got a really good racer behind him, Bradley Freeman, Aaron Brown, J.R. Haggart, and Brandon Red are our top 5. And I believe we're going to have 4 laps of green flag racing once we go back green. as the pace light should be going out this time by. And that'll leave us with 4 laps of green flag racing. And John really needs to bring them down to a crawl and then stomp it. Just as soon as that pace car ducks in. Lights are not out on the pace car. They are now. And we have 5 laps to go, so when they come back around and be green flag with 4 laps remaining of this event, if they wreck now, the race is over. It will finish under caution. And I'm sure that Ford truck's saying he don't care as long as he's in the lead when the yellow flag comes out. Got to be smart for these last 4 laps. Come on, John, you can do it, brother. Don't brake check though. Be smart, be smooth. Pace car is in. John is away. The green flag is out. And we are green flag racing for the last 4 laps of this event. 5 laps of this event. And it looks like they're going to try it 3 wide right behind him with Bradley Freeman, Aaron Brown, and J.R. Haggard. They thought about going 3 wide. Now Bradley Freeman and Aaron Brown are battling it out. And as long as they keep battling it out, John Mullins is going to get the chance to run off. Oh, Bradley Freeman catches the apron, gets loose. The race is going to be over. The race is over, and John Mullins will end up winning this race under yellow. He started second. He's going to end up winning this race. Way to go, John. As I do not believe we will be going green flag racing. Let's see if we can't get a look at what happened with Bradley Freeman. Well, now the 45 is on the bottom. He catches the apron, loses it, and comes right up and catches Bradley Freeman. And then Randy gets into the 14 too as well. So that's a shame. That's a real shame. So Aaron Brown catches that apron and just comes up and collects Bradley Freeman. Chris Terrence was the lucky dog. So that puts him back on the lead lap, and we have 10 drivers that will finish this race on the lead lap. And it looks like J.R. Haggard's giving John Mullins a little congratulations bump. Yeah. I know John's happy right now. We'll try to get these interviews in and make them quick and short so we can get set up for our next race here tonight. And it will be for 100 laps here at Chicago Speedway. John was really looking forward to running this race tonight, and I don't know if he got lucky or you want to call it skill or whatever, but I'd rather be lucky than good. And we are at our final lap of the race. So John Mullins will end up winning this race under yellow. See if we can't go ahead and start searching for drivers. It's official. John Mullins, J.R. Haggard, Casey Drake, Brandon Redd, William M. Edwards, Robert Larandy, Yves St. Onge, Richard Springer, Charles Hemphill, Chris Terrence, Martin Wenzel, Dustin Musel, Zachary Smith, Bradley Freeman, Aaron Brown, and Bob Cunningham. As they go around the track to complete their last, whatever lap you want to call it, it's a finishing lap. I'm sure John's going to want to do him some donuts. Now, believe it or not, since Yves St. Onge finished 7th, I believe that will actually move him up some in the point standings, because Tater Bowman didn't race tonight. Okay, we'll get this interview going here. You got a copy there, John?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, we talked about it, and you pulled it off, brother. So how's it feel to finally get that win?
It feels pretty good, man. Won it off pit road. That's what got me the race tonight.
Yeah, you should have heard me talking about hold it, don't let up.
Yeah, now 21 had us covered. He had a fast truck. I don't know what happened behind me there, but he was fast, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I watched Richard Springer earlier this week and watched him a little bit during practice. And yeah, he had the truck. Just looked to me like you had the long run though. And it's it's a crying shame that we didn't get that green flag, because I'd like to see if you could have run him down.
Yeah, we was having a bunch of short sprints there. We didn't have much of a long run, so yeah, I'd like to seen it go 25, 30 laps. That'd been nice.
Well, you're locked in now for the shootout, so I assume you're pretty happy about that?
Yes, sir. Looking forward to the Cup season. It's right around the corner.
Yes, sir. Casey Drake and J.R. Haggard finished second and third. Gonna get a real quick interview with them too. You got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
I'd like to thank James Pandoff and Dynasty Racing League for letting us put this on every week. I sure enjoy it.
Well, we enjoy having you, brother.
I'll see you a little bit later in the main.
Yes, sir. Get you something cold to drink. Alright, we're going to see if we can't find J.R. Haggard now. I seen him earlier. Well, now I know he was in chat. There he is. Mr. Haggard, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you pulled off the second place finish, brother. How's it feel?
Well, I feel like if we would have had a couple more laps there at the end, I have a feeling I would have had something there for Mr. Mullins. But the second place is always good. It's better than what I was running after that spin.
Yeah, I was wondering if you was going to get to him or not.
Well, I was going to try my hardest, but then Mr. Brown had to get loose there. Too bad he's on the same team as me. He was looking forward to an interview with you.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier this afternoon, and he said he was going to do everything he could to get the win tonight, and he finally pulled it off. I was looking at the points, and aren't you around 6th or so in the B-split standings?
I think so. I mean, I've only ran the last 3 weeks in B-split, so I'm pretty sure I'm around 6th or 7th.
Well, it's not that many points separating 1st through 5th for sure. It's only an 18-point difference, so you still may have a hope if you're any good at Homestead, brother.
Well, in C-Fix, I was dominating at Homestead. That's I'm hoping I can do that here.
Well, we look forward to seeing you next week, brother. And you got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, Toyota, the DRL owners and admins, all of the iRacing staff, the team, Aaron Brown, the 51, Casey Drake, and everyone, all the broadcast members and all them.
Well, we appreciate it, brother. You have a good night. Get you something cold to drink before we head back up into the main event. And good luck there tonight, too, as well.
10-4. See you there.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can't find Casey Drake. Still looking. There he is. Casey, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, brother, you had an eventful night tonight. You were in the front, you was in the back, you were spinning, you were getting caught up in everything, but you pulled off a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, it was a really up and down night, but at least it ended with a 3rd place finish.
Well, you did pretty good tonight. How do you feel about your chances in the main event?
I think I will be a top 10 car. Maybe a top 5 car if I get lucky.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little hint. Stay off that apron, especially coming to the trial. I know y'all seem to think it's a shortcut around the track, but as I watch this race progress, you'd be amazed at how many people was hitting that apron and coming back up onto the track and the back end breaking loose.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you go back into this next race here for 100 laps. And you got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to DRL, obviously, for hosting all these races, and I'll give a shout out to my teammates, Aaron Brown and J.R. Hager.
Well, so y'all got 2nd and 3rd, so you did pretty good. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next race at 9:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that does it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the DRL Winter Series B-Split race. Yeah, there's a question for me as hitting that apron and coming back on the track. But, I mean, drivers drive how they drive, and, you know, if it's a fast way around the track and you can hold it, more power to you. We saw tonight how these trucks just really can't handle it. We even seen our pole sitter do the same thing, get on the apron and lose it just a little bit. But yeah, we should be having a really good fun event here tonight at 9:30. So we're gonna do the results once again and get set up for the next event. John Mullins did end up winning his race tonight in the B split. J.R. Hager was 2nd, Casey Drake was 3rd, Brendan Redd was 4th, William Edwards 5th, Robert Larandy 6th, Yves St. Ong 7th, Richard Springer, pole sitter, 8th, Charles Hemphill 9th, Chris Terrence is 10th, and Martin Wenzel is 11th, Dustin Musel is 12th, Zachary Smith 13th, Bradley Freeman unfortunately ends up in the 14th position, Aaron Brown 15th, and Bob Cunningham rounds out the 16th and final position for the race here tonight. That was the Chicagoland 50 lapper, and we will be back here at 9:30 to do it all over again for 100 laps. So good night and God bless, ladies and gentlemen.